The three most important Six Sigma certifications. When companies commit to Six Sigma, they're not just adding a toolkit. They're adopting a shared language for finding root causes, reducing variation, and locking in better outcomes. That language works only when everyone can speak it. Belt levels exist for a reason. They define who does what, how decisions get made, and how improvements survive long after the first win. White belts, green belts, and black belts form the core of that system. If any one level underperforms, the entire project can wobble. Data gets misread, solutions don't fit reality, stakeholders disengage, and momentum fades. Six Sigma is a team sport. The white belt gives the whole organization baseline fluency. The green belt turns ideas into measurable change with tools and data. The black belt orchestrates the work, removes roadblocks, and ensures benefits stick. Together, they create the rhythm that turns scattered efforts into a durable, organization-wide improvement engine. Organizations like the Management and Strategy Institute offer training and certification for these belts. Visit them at the link in the description. Why white belt matters? Organizational fluency for everyone. White belt is the on-ramp. It doesn't try to turn every employee into a statistician. It equips them to understand what the project team is doing and why. People learn the purpose of DMAIC, the difference between symptoms and root causes, and how everyday actions can introduce variation. With that context, frontline staff stop seeing improvement as extra work and start seeing it as better work. They recognize waste in their own area, provide cleaner input to green belts, and help test solutions without the friction that comes from confusion or rumor. When a company skips broad white belt exposure, small misunderstandings compound. Teams resist data collection because they don't see the point. Supervisors revert to old habits after pilots end, and well-intended fixes run into "not invented here" skepticism. A short, organization-wide white belt baseline prevents that drift by aligning vocabulary and expectations. Why green belt matters. Tools, data, and measurable change. Green belts are the engine room of Six Sigma projects. They translate the voice of the customer into measurable, critical-to-quality requirements, map processes to reveal hidden cues in rework, and gather the data that tells leaders what to fix first. This level isn't about memorizing formulas, it's about using practical tools with discipline. Pareto charts to prioritize, cause and effect diagrams to structure hypotheses, capability analysis to quantify performance, control charts to separate signal from noise, and pilot plans to test improvements safely. A strong green belt keeps a project grounded. They don't chase anecdotes. They design a data plan that's feasible on the floor, validate measurement systems, and make sure sample sizes are big enough to trust the result. They work shoulder to shoulder with operators, gathering insights that never show up on a dashboard. When green belts underperform, projects stall in the gap between concept and execution. Leaders get slides instead of results, and the organization loses faith that this time will be different. Why black belt matters: orchestration, leadership, and permanence. Black belts are the project managers and technical coaches. They scope the problem so it's meaningful but solvable, align stakeholders, and keep DMAIC phases clean. No jumping to control before improve has real evidence. They select the right tools for the question at hand, elevate roadblocks early, and protect the team from scope creep. Crucially, they steward change management, building a communication plan, engaging the people who will live with the new process, and securing the controls that make improvements stick. A strong black belt keeps the system honest. They insist on operational definitions, push for practical significance, not just statistical, and structure handoffs so ownership survives after the project closes. When black belts falter, you see orphaned improvements, quick wins without controls, savings that evaporate in a quarter, and teams that feel done to, not done with. How the three levels work together. Imagine a service center trying to reduce repeat customer calls. White belt training gives every representative a shared understanding of CTQs like first contact resolution and cycle time. That shared baseline reduces resistance when changes are proposed. Green belts then map the call flow, identify where information gets lost, and collect data on call drivers and handle time. They test scripts, knowledge base updates, and routing tweaks with pilots designed to measure real impact. Black belts keep the project tight, sequence experiments, resolve cross-department issues with IT and training, and harden the gains with control charts, dashboards, and ownership in operations. The result isn't just a lower repeat call rate, it's a team that knows why it dropped, how to keep it down, and what to watch for if conditions change. That resilience is the point of Six Sigma, and it only shows up when all three levels pull their weight. What goes wrong when one level underperforms? If white belts are missing, you get passive resistance and inconsistent adoption. If green belts are weak, you get ideas without evidence and pilots that don't scale. If black belts are stretched thin or unfocused, projects sprawl, stakeholders disengage, and improvements fail to stick. Each level protects the others. White belts accelerate adoption, green belts ensure rigor, black belts ensure direction and durability. Building a healthy pipeline. High-performing organizations treat these certifications as a pipeline, not isolated achievements. New hires and supervisors complete white belt so they can contribute immediately. High-potential contributors rotate through green belt projects to build analytical muscle and credibility on the floor. Experienced leaders pursue black belt to drive cross-functional change and mentor the next wave of green belts. Promotions and performance reviews reflect not only delivered savings, but also the strength of controls and the quality of knowledge transferred to operations. Here's the bottom line. White belt, green belt, and black belt are the three most important Six Sigma certifications because they connect strategy to execution. White belt teaches everyone what good looks like and why change matters. Green belt turns that understanding into targeted experiments and measurable results. Black belt turns results into repeatable, scalable, and permanent wins. Together, they create an improvement culture that survives new products, new leaders, and new constraints. And that's how organizations compound value year after year.